You may have wondered whether RNLI are going into French waters and bringing back illegal migrants coming across the channel. You may have wondered why the French vessels don't take them back to France. You may have wondered why we don't take them back to France. So welcome back. We are on Black Belt Barrister off the record. So extra content here. Please do subscribe if you haven't already. Let's try and race my main channel to 1 million subscribers. Thank you all so much for 100,000. I really appreciate it. Let's see if we can race it to 1 million, and let's see if we can get them both there. Thank you so much. The brief overview of the legal position is there would be international law debates and disputes if we forcibly sent them back to France. That's it in a nutshell. But it's not quite that straightforward because it is now reaching levels of Parliament to have this debate. So I bring you a letter from Chris Philp, MP, to the new Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, who, let's state first of all that she has previously been known to say refugees welcome. She's taken on campaigns to prevent illegal migrants and foreign criminals being deported and so on. And yet now she stands as Home Secretary. She has been rather robust in her comments thus far about I'll pull it up on screen if I remember. And I've said that I will give my full support if she absolutely presses this issue home. If I might also tempt you, there's a video linked below which I did previously, the Home Office versus Epping. This is what they are really arguing against the people in Epping. Right-click that video, open in a new tab and watch it after this one. That will open your eyes. But for now, let's take a look at Chris Philp's letter here. And if we zoom in a bit, make the screen bigger, you can read it a little bit better. He says, "Dear Home Secretary, congratulations on your recent appointment. This summer, I witnessed firsthand what appears to be the French authorities facilitating illegal migration." Now, obviously, let me just pausing for thought there for a moment. If that were the case, that is absolutely outrageous because we are sending them vast sums of money to prevent illegal immigration, let alone facilitate it. He goes on. He said, "I saw the police in northern France ushering illegal migrants onto buses towards the embarkation points, and I saw them failing to patrol beaches such as grave lines, which are notorious embarkation points." You probably saw that video where he went over to France and he saw them getting onto the bus, and they were literally there ushering them onto buses and then making their way down to these points, which they get onto these small boats. He then said, "I also saw French vessels at sea ushering migrant boats across the channel into British waters with no attempt to stop them. No one I spoke to in France had heard anything about plans for the French to intercept migrant boats near the shore, which your predecessor had trumpeted as a new approach." Remember I did my videos sometime around Christmas when they were saying that they are putting all of this together now to have this new approach to work with France to prevent these boats leaving the shores. Obviously, that hasn't happened. He goes on, "I'm writing to you because I also received worrying reports from the skipper of the boat that took me out to the channel." He said, "The UK Border Force and RNLI vessels regularly enter French waters to pick up illegal immigrants, even though a French vessel is on hand and could easily make a rescue if needed." He said that he can see from the navigation tracks on his system. Evidence is attached below of just one example of this, where the Border Force vessel has gone into French waters and apparently picked up migrants, even though a French vessel is there. And so you can quite clearly see the line here. So you can quite clearly see that a British vessel has crossed to pick up this migrant vessel. He said, "It would be outrageous if UK Border Force went into French waters to pick up illegal immigrants and ferry them to the UK when the French have a vessel there which could and should make any rescue needed." Separately, now here's the really important point, which I've been saying for many months now. So not that I profess that this is my videos having any effect or whatever, although they do get quite a number of views, but I genuinely just think a lot more people are now coming around to this way of thinking, agreeing with what I say, and having the courage to say it. So I am very pleased that Chris Philp has the, let's just say the courage, I'm not being disrespectful, but the courage to actually say this. He says as follows: separately, I believe that migrants picked up in any part of the channel, including in our waters, should be taken back to France in any event. That is what I've been saying all along. There is absolutely no reason, in my view, that they should not be taken back to France. They came from France, they should go back to France, rather than here and being a burden on the taxpayer. They were safe in France, they would be safe in France. They will be if we take them back, and I read just a few minutes ago at the time of recording, they are trumpeting and celebrating one migrant deported under this new scheme, under this one-in, one-out scheme. His replacement is probably already in the UK, but by the by. He says, I hope that as Home Secretary you instruct Border Force not to go into French waters when there's a French vessel present, whether to pick up illegal immigrants, escort them, or otherwise assist with illegal entry into the UK. It would be helpful if you would say the same to RNLI, although I appreciate they're not under your jurisdiction. That's obviously the institution. And whilst that's right, she doesn't have jurisdiction over them, the same guidance could be passed there too. So I don't know what you think about this, but I've been saying all along that this absolutely should be the case. They should be taken back to France. And now we have Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp MP saying exactly the same thing directly to the Home Secretary by letter. And I hope that message gets through, and I hope they actually take this seriously, because our vessels going into French waters to pick up migrants to bring them back here is ridiculous. Just as ridiculous as French escorting them over or failing to prevent them in the first place. All of these things are ridiculous when we send them countless hundreds of millions of pounds to prevent this. And as Chris Philp said, his personal experience on the ground in France is that no one's got any idea that France are actually doing anything about this. So that is absolutely crazy. But also, many of you have wondered, are any of them coming across terrorists? Because it is nothing at all to do with race or religion. I keep saying that, and even then I ironically get criticized for saying that, because some people take the rather extreme view where we should be saying everyone out who wasn't historically English. I don't agree with that either. But when we do have this illegal migration getting out of control, we do need to draw the line somewhere. So now, as I've said many times, we have no idea of the background of these people coming across and whether or not they're convicted terrorists or whatever. And it sounds extreme, but this is where we're going. So as always, please do leave me your thoughts and comments in the box below. Subscribe if you haven't already. This was Black Belt Barrister, off the record, signing off. See you in the next one.